Oh, welcome back, you beauties. Shake off the rust. It is time to dive into a brand new week and some brand new cinematic offerings. And we've got the best person in the world to help us do that. Mr. JP Sebastian is here to chat about The Wild Robot. As a parent to young kids, I look forward to beautiful new animated movies, and this looks great, but we shall find out from the man himself.
Shake off the rust.
Shake it off, baby. Shake it off.
Or animations. You're obviously a big fan yourself.
I love animations. As a parent to myself, I absolutely take myself to the movies to watch these. I'm here for it.
Responsibly so, yeah.
Yes. Myself also, to my inner child. And man, The Wild Robot, I'm going to have some words to share on that. But tell you what, let's have a look first at the people behind the movie, because there's some big names, as you mentioned already, Lupita Nyong'o. And just so you know, by the way, this is already out, so you should have gone to see it already. But I'm here as a reminder for you. But let's have a look. Here it is, The Wild Robot.
I see trees of green and clouds of white, bright blessed day, dark sacred night, what a wonderful world.
I love adventures, I love stories with heroes and villains and all that kind of stuff, but the stuff I always connect with is the smaller, more intimate things, the feelings that these characters are feeling. That's the stuff that I hold on to.
You're his mother now.
I do not have the programming.
He needs to swim and fly.
Swimming's easy. I can teach him the way my mom taught me. Swim!
Roz is an unrelentingly kind character. In this wild place that she was never designed to be, she learns kindness can be a survival skill.
Did you perhaps order a Rosam helper robot?
Where do you think you're going?
Everyone on Wild Robot had such a great passion, and they're all doing their best work. This magical combination of scope and heart.
Based on the look of the book, and with the subject matter that we were working with, DreamWorks is the perfect studio because the animators had already been developing this amazing illustrative style.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, Pedro's giving it the wow. I mean, I've got goosebumps, and I've got all of about 30 seconds of context. So maybe give us a little bit of context.
You do realize there's a goose in this movie, right? You just said you have goosebumps.
I'm here all day, man. I'm here all day. I'd love to say that I've got another one. But,
so the robot is played by Lupita Nyong'o, and she's, as he just said, this sort of service robot, like, you know, an Alexa type situation.
For sure.
That washes up on a mystery island. It looks like it's Scotland, actually, but that's besides the point. And she immediately, when she pops out of the box, she's on this beach, she tries to sell to otters, like, I can be of service to you, you know, please, how can I help you? She's trying to sell home loans to squirrels and whatever. What's hilarious, though, is that for this whole opening sequence of like 20 minutes, it's just her talking, which is interesting. I'd love for animations or movies to be brave enough to just be like, hey, silence in an alien world.
Let the character carry it, yeah.
And for the longest time, it's sort of like, if you remember every Disney princess, well, I think it's Snow White really in particular, you go into the forest and the birds land on your hands.
Right.
This movie gets violent. Animals are wild. Like, raccoons are trying to tear her to pieces. I'm never gonna, like, well, it's hilarious that it's not just like goofishly, cartoonishly violent, but like, it's just nature.
It's nature.
And actually,
wild, man. It's wild.
That was one of the things that I think the director was interested in doing, is like, of course, you know, there are ways that we find animals hilarious when you're watching Looney Tunes and whatever, but it's just raw nature, and in a way that's not exactly scary necessarily if your children are going to go watch this, but whatever. That's just the first...
It's real.
That's the first interesting point for me. It's like, look at that. And then the other thing that it deals with really... Look, I'm talking about all the things it deals with already and not telling you the story. Anyway, so sorry, let me go back to the story. Washes up on a beach and then literally stumbles upon a gosling, a little baby goose. Becomes its carer in a way, and this is the point where Lupita Nyong'o's robot has to try and figure out its own sense of self. You know, am I a mother? Am I a carer? Am I, you know, how do I belong in this
humanity,
weird,
ridiculously enough, yeah.
but at the same time as she's learning about herself, the community itself, which is all vicious and wild to each other because it's animals against animals in a wild setting, start to learn that they're also in community So this is where this idea that the director spoke about comes along, is that kindness can be a survival tactic.
Sure.
When you hear those sort of things that might sound like, relatively deep and whatever, there's so much more. This movie's really dense with the possibility of lessons and stuff like that. It's one of these things that can turn into, the way a lot of even adults to this day read like the Little Prince, like the Bible.
I was going to say, with a book that allows you so much latitude because it captures an emotion so beautifully.
And more importantly, like it's dealing with a lot of like meta stuff. It's not just, heartbreak, how do I get my friend back and whatever, that stuff's all there too. But it's also like, how do we define worth?
Yeah.
What is value?
Sure.
Like, is it important to be valuable, etc.? So these are really difficult, deeper questions for kids to grapple with, that they should grapple with. And I think that the movie does very well to do so.
Wow.
I think I just gave you the synopsis, but that's all my assessment. I just need to tell you that, I cried twice watching this. Really surprised that I did. And so it pulled all the heartstrings in the right way. And aside from that, what other positive things can I say? Because it's only positive
Lupita
things I can say.
sings.
Yeah, Lupita
Lupita
sings. But you were saying everyone's got to be a triple threat when you knock that door down in Hollywood. You've got to have the chops.
I think as a rule, if you're going to be in the Screen Actors Guild, you have to be able to sing, dance, and act. That's a rule. Besides the point, obviously, she's also just fantastic at everything she does. We got something really marvelous on our hands from the same studio that just brought us, obviously, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
You see now.
What is DreamWorks doing that other studios are just not? We love Pixar, of course, but they're given a lot of creative freedom to their animators, and it really pays off. So let's have another look at more from the Wild Robot. And the people behind the making of that. It's just great to see the director join, but whatever. Like people using their hands.
You need to learn how things work on this island.
Do you need assistance?
We're really pushing the look further than what we had started on Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. It takes a lot of work, so we did a little sample trying to make the leaves and grass on the ground merge together into solid areas of color. That really convinced us that it could work.
The vision of the art department combined with the comfort of the artists with the technology, all those things have built up. We wanted all those painterly touches, but we still wanted to be able to follow our characters through a believable dimensional world.
They've really paid attention to every single detail. Every frame of this film creates spaces where it wants you to look.
Brightbill was never supposed to get this far.
Hello, bonjour, Hijambo. I am Gosling 0186. Right.
The migration to me is the showpiece of the whole movie. That's the scene that we have to build everything else around because we really had to earn that moment, and Chris boarded the whole thing himself.
Ready? I guess I have to be.
He was a hero of mine since I was a kid. I grew up looking at his drawings in The Art of the Lion King, and it's a dream come true in every way.
I think I got it!
The artists here have outdone themselves in bringing a book and a story and characters to life that mean so much to me and to them, and hopefully someday to all of our audience that sees it. It's nothing like I've ever seen or experienced before. I cherished every single day.
You are ordered to return home.
I am already home, and I am a wild robot.
Check how he's looking at both of our eyes to see if we're crying right now. How did you even get through the interview that I know you're going to do beautifully with in just a moment? Do you know what struck me during this? We are grappling with, even watching the creatives working, we are grappling with the notion of robots taking our jobs, taking our sense of self, taking our identity. And here we are using a robot not engaging with one human at all, to tell that so powerfully. There is something magical about this one.
Sure, but then it has all sorts of lessons about being anti-automation in its own way. As you saw, they're bad guy robots as well. Stephanie Sue, who was in Everything Everywhere All at Once, is fantastic as well, was nominated.
I watched it on the plane.
She's great, right? The daughter.
You and me are on a vibe at the moment.
So, it's all those themes do come in, and it's not necessarily like, it's a creepy amount of movies right now that are being very pro-AI for certain reasons. This movie is more like
pro-emotion.
However, The Wild Robot, I'd have to obviously give it a score. You guys like hearing about popcorns.
How many popcorns?
How many popcorns from JP? 8 out of 10 for The Wild Robot.
No way.
And
that must be the highest you've ever rated a movie.
I think we've had a Spirited Away and a couple that have kind of, but maybe this
and speaking of Spirited Away and Hayao Miyazaki, Chris Sanders, the director of this, like you said, there's such a unique style to it. He said he described this movie as Monet in a Miyazaki forest. So I look in your guys' eyes, and South Africa, look at the response to animation.
Yeah.
It's not just for kids. Like seriously, go watch Miyazaki. It will change your life. Go watch The Wild Robot. You will treat it the way you treat The Little Prince, the way people treat that, like it's their own holy book. It's a fantastic movie. But there's an interview as well.
Oh, buddy, 8 out of 10. Lest we forget that 8 out of 10 popcorns. But I love it. As JP said, it has released, and if you haven't seen it already, you are in for something magical. And this past weekend's big screen blockbuster release was the rip-snorting, tear-jerking, we found that already, adventure of self-discovery animation. And of course, we love the name in itself, The Wild Robot.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I love it.
I'm just going to wipe away some tears right now.